traction. So if I go into eco mode, the coasting is still there. So I don't have to. I'll lift off I'll accelerate. I'll lift off the gas, and the car goes into coasting mode. It's nicely coasting. Gears are disengaged, and your car is maintaining good fuel economy. And there is no change in this, which is a good thing, because this is something that really helps this car maintain the fuel efficiency that we get out of it, which is decent. It's not great because it's a sports car, but it's pretty decent fuel efficiency on this car. Now, the next thing that is there is the gearbox shifting in D and S in all the three different modes that are there in the car are very different. So in normal mode, the gearbox is very eager to upshift, so you will see the car shifting gear going up to 6th, 7th gear much faster than the stock programming, unless you press the gas a little bit more. And in normal mode, if I shift it to sports mode, it still maintains that. It doesn't hold the gear unnecessarily too long in sports mode, even in normal. So that's a difference from the stock programming. Stock programming, in all the gears, all the modes, the gearbox response and behavior was exactly the same. Whereas in the TVS Stage 2 map, the gearbox programming is different for each mode. So, which is a good thing. So right now I'm in S mode in the normal driving mode. If I switch to the sport driving mode, which is this one, my gearbox response becomes instantaneous. It is more eager to downshift, it is more eager to match the revs, and the gear shifts, yes, you can feel the gear shifts in this mode. However, if I go back to the regular mode, the normal mode, even with the gearbox remaining in sport, let me put it back in sport, yeah. The gear shifts are not that aggressive. So it's holding the gear, oh wow, and that's a gear shift. So it's not that aggressive. In S mode, you can feel it. S mode, you can really feel the car shifting the gears and slamming the gears in place and getting off the clutch much faster than you would do in S mode in normal profile. So that's a huge change for me. So I can actually use the S mode in normal profile also without having to worry that the car will hold the gears unnecessarily too high. So if I go to, that was sports mode gearbox in normal mode driving. If I go into sport mode driving, now watch. The car shifts gears instantaneously and it holds them longer too. So I've noticed this one thing, that with 3/4 throttle on this car in any mode, the gearbox behaves very differently than it would be in normally if you're driving normally. So, and that behavior is now customized to each mode. So each mode, for example, if I go sport, normal, eco, they have different programming on the behavior of how the gearbox will shift the gears. I don't know which is the light, the red light, okay. So let's see, car. So I'll just pull over next and I'll just show you guys a drive. I'll focus the camera on the speedometer so you can see the gear shifting much better and compare it to your own car's experience, and that will give you a better way of comparing how this gearbox map fares versus your factory map. So this is the car driving in D mode. Gearbox in D, driving profile is normal. Let me just stop start from scratch. So pull the car over to a full stop and then take off like you normally would in a traffic. So you can see that the gearbox without any jerks or hesitation just shifted to 6th gear in 60 kilometers an hour. And I am driving the car and I could not feel the gear shift. So it's actually very smooth compared to the stock programming, and that is what is, I think, the TVS's basic drivability program, and it really changes the way of the feel of this car. The car feels a lot more alive, and it also feels a lot more smooth when you're driving it like a normal car and not hooning about like I was a while back. So now, keeping in the normal profile mode, I'm going to switch the gearbox to S mode and drive it. Now normally, like we discussed before, that even in the S mode the gearbox was behaving very aggressively even in the normal driving profile. That is no longer the case. Now I'm driving it in S mode comfortably. There's no aggressive upshift or aggressive downshift unless I ask it to. So right now I'm in 5th gear. I want to accelerate. I hold the gear back and it accelerates. And let go the accelerator. See, even that downshift wasn't very aggressive. Earlier the downshift would just jerk the car a lot. So now that I've done the accelerating, the car it'll come back to normal mode in a bit. So yeah, it's now holding the gear because I accelerated aggressively, and now it's going to come back. So yeah. So S mode becomes very usable. I mean, it's not giving me any unnecessary jerks, it's not giving me any unnecessary downshifts or holding the gear unnecessarily high. Now, if I move over to the sport profile, which is the sport profile, and the gearbox in D, same. The shifts are a little bit more aggressive, so you can feel the shift that, yeah, it is actually shifting the car aggressively. Means that it is reducing the delay between the shifts quite a bit in this profile, which is not there in the normal profile. And also the car is a lot eager to change gears down to give you the acceleration even in D mode in the sports profile than it would do in the D mode in the normal or eco profile. So that's a very good thing that has happened for this one. So now this is in sports profile. Now let me switch the gearbox to sport mode. Now look, now the instant acceleration that is there is phenomenal, and it seems to be holding the gears a lot longer in this mode. So even when I'm braking hard, the car is not jerking the car in the downshift. Feel the gearbox. I mean, feel the power of the torque of the engine and the torque in sport mode. Even now that the car is in sports mode and this thing is very aggressively shifting, the jerks aren't as bad as the stock map. So that's another huge upside to this, that even in the most aggressive driver profile and the gearbox in the most aggressive mode, the shift is very smooth. Even though it's fast, it's not slowed the shift speed down, but it's really very smooth shifting. So we're back on the same S driving mode, sports driving profile and sports gearbox. If I'm not driving aggressively, if I'm not slamming the gas, the S gearbox mode is actually very useful. It keeps the car in the power band and doesn't do anything silly. But if I need acceleration, it instantly changes third, and boom. And it holds the car till red line. Yeah. So I have a feeling that this car's acceleration has improved significantly, because the way the gearbox is now holding the gears, as well as removing the torque limiter and also the speed of shifting. That has significantly changed from what the stock map was. So I hope that helps you guys make up your mind. Again, this is a stage 2 plus DSG map, so it has all the features of the drivability, which is the the smooth shifting, the first gear enabling in low speeds, and the clutch life extender, as well as all the sports related functions which come with high torque limiter and all the different shifting programs for different driving profiles in both D and S. That comes with the stage 2 plus map. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let's see, and I hope this video helps you make up your mind on whether you need to get a DSG map or what DSG map you want to get. Again, this is the TVS stage 2 plus, and so far I'm extremely impressed with it. I mean, I really wish the car came like this from the factory and I didn't have to go and spend so much money to mapping the gearbox, but that's what it is. Thanks guys.